good side here. All right, College Game Day heads to Berkeley tomorrow for the first time ever. The Cal Bears are a 10-point home dogs tomorrow against number 8 Miami. The Canes coming off a dramatic win over Virginia Tech, where replay overturned a touchdown the final play. Well, let's head out to Berkeley, where we find Stanford Steve, who, by the way, red hot, 12-3 with his picks on College Game Day. Steve, is it as hot as it is right now in Berkeley?
Yeah, it's pretty hot here, Erin, for sure.
Right.
Sun is not going away anytime soon.
Don't worry, we're not going to make you blot yourself. All right, well, Miami's a double-digit favorite. Late night in Berkeley. Which side would you be looking at this one?
It's tough here. You know, at the beginning of the week, you're thinking about Cal. First time College Game Day is here. Big time for their program in prime time. And then you start thinking about Miami, okay? They got that scare last week against Virginia Tech where they were fortunate to win. How much did they learn from that game? I thought Cam Ward was a little too careless with the ball, which caused Virginia Tech to go off up front. But when I think about this game and you really think about a matchup, it's about Cal's offensive line and how they can hold up against Miami's constant pressure of the defensive line. Cal has to play their A game to win this game. And last time we saw them, you know, against Florida State, it was not good. They have to be better at offense. Jaden Knott should be back for them. So that's what they got to come out, establish the lead, get the lead, let this crowd be a factor. That's their best chances at that game. But right now, it's a stay away from me.
All right, well, Alabama and Georgia coming off an instant classic this week, both laying around 22 points. Which team would you rather lay that big number with?
Oh, it's a tough one because it was a tale of two halves when you go back and watch the tape with that game. Georgia coming out just looking so perplexed by what Alabama did defensively. Alabama's offense taking advantage of the situations they had. Then in the second half, Carson Beck finds his feet, gets the ball to his receivers, and they were tremendous. But I would have to say, out of those two teams coming in this week, it's more about who they're playing against. Vanderbilt doesn't have the capability of what I believe Auburn does. And that guy right there, Jalen Milroe, as he watches the second half of last week's game, he has to understand he tried doing too much. He took the plays that were given to him in the first half, as you see right there with the fourth down run, and he was superb in that first half. The big play capability of Alabama is the reason I pick Alabama between them and Georgia coming into this week.
All right, well, let's also hit on another SEC team. That's going to be Ole Miss. They're coming off a loss to Kentucky. Do you trust the Rebels to bounce back this week?
You know, I feel like I'm out on an island here, Erin, but yes, I do trust Ole Miss and what they've done in years prior and how, you know, there's always a letdown when you don't expect them to. They were bad last week. Got beat up front by Kentucky, and Kentucky made a play late to win that game. But when you think about this matchup with Ole Miss, I do think about their offense. Jackson Dart getting rid of the ball very quickly to offset those defensive ends who are great for South Carolina. On the defensive side, their strength of Ole Miss's defense is that defensive line and Lane Kiffin going out in the portal and getting guys like Nolan up front. So when I look at the matchup, I do believe Ole Miss gets this thing done. More than enough, you know, north of a touchdown. So that's kind of tricky. But if I have to pick a side, I'm taking Ole Miss.
All right, and Boise State running back Ashton Genty's props are absolutely absurd. He's minus 5,000 to score a touchdown, and get this, his rushing yards prop, 191 and a half. 191 and a half. I did not stutter. Can you dare bet an over on that yards prop?
I think you have to take the over. When you look at what he's done, he's averaging over 10 yards a carry. And when you look at Utah State, they are atrocious against the run. They're atrocious defensively. And when you think about what Boise State wants to do, it's get Ashton Genty the ball. Last week in that game, he was incredible. You look at him here against Oregon. He was the best player on the field. His balance, the way he runs against contact is just as remarkable as I've seen all season. So when you go back to look at Utah State in this matchup, they're 115th in rush yards allowed per game. I am taking the over on Ashton Genty as he surges towards trying to make that Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York later in the year.
Now that I think about it, it's only right to take it over. So sure, I'll agree with you on that. Throw some coin on that. But Steve will be back with his best bet on tonight's slate of college football. All right, well, Michigan State faces number 6 Oregon tonight in a Big Ten matchup. Oregon's laying 23.5 points. The Ducks are off to a good 4-0 start, but they've dropped 3 spots in the AP poll since the start of the season. Now, Anita, as a former Duck as well, what are you liking tonight in Eugene?
How many colleges did you attend?
2.
Okay.
Penn State and Oregon. But one too many.
I like the under here, and keep in mind this line just dropped a few hours ago from 52 to 51. I don't think this surpasses 50 for a number of reasons. Let's start Michigan State, tough defense, right? On top of that, their offense, pretty stale, smells pretty bad. They've got 8 interceptions compared to 5 touchdowns. 50% of their drives aren't even reaching the end zone. In fact, they've gotten inside the 20 18 times, and only 7 times have they scored a touchdown. As for Oregon, really underrated defense coming in, and they have outperformed this season, so pretty impressive. QB Dylan Gabriel, who's transferred, just hasn't found his groove yet, Erin. So until he does, especially in this matchup, as good as Michigan State's defense has been playing, I like the under here. Like I said, I don't think this gets past 50 tonight.
I mean, it's a big number. It is a big number to surpass. So, okay, well, there's nothing better than sitting on the couch all day on Saturday and betting some college football. Let's give you an all-day parlay that you can sweat out all day long. Now, we have 13 FBS games going on starting at noon tomorrow. Penn State laying a big number against UCLA in a Big Ten matchup. We also have a top 25 matchup with number 25 Texas A&M favored at home over number 9 Missouri. So I'm going to make the first pick here. I'm going to go with Texas A&M in this spot. I would lay the 2.5 points. Now look, they have bounced back from that week 1 loss to Notre Dame with 4 straight wins. Now, Reed has looked good. He's very dynamic. He's been great all season. 585 passing yards, 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's also rushed for 585 yards. We also know that Moss has been great for this offense, but what this comes down to for me is Missouri. Yes, they've been looking like one of those top offenses with the amount of points that they put up on the board, but okay, you played Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, Vanderbilt. Brady Cook, yes, he's looked good, but I don't think so necessarily in this spot. So we're going to lay it with the Aggies in this spot. All right, let's head to the night slate. Clemson is laying over 2 touchdowns at Florida State. When the line was posted this summer, Florida State was a 3-point favorite. Now College Game Day will be live from Miami, for Miami at Cal with Miami laying 10 points. So Anita, what do you like for the night slate to add to this parlay?
Give me the U, baby, and it's not just because I'm from the 305. Listen, close call last week against Virginia Tech, right? 38-34. I'm sure you were watching that Hail Mary pass. We all were jumping up and down, but that was an outlier game. This University of Miami offense, they're putting up 30 points, beating teams by 30 points on average. Why? Cam Ward. Now, some people are concerned. This is a University of Miami team having to travel to the left coast, right, playing across the country. But let's not forget, Cam Ward played at Washington State. He's familiar. Better offense, better defense. Give me the Canes.
All right, well, check out this ESPN Bet Live all-day parlay on the ESPN Bet app. We have my bet, of course, which is laying the points with Texas A&M. Anita's bet of Miami laying 9.5. And Stanford Steve taking Ole Miss at South Carolina. That's been boosted for you guys from plus 570 to plus 625 right now on ESPN Bet. All right, well,